Okay. All right. Good evening, everybody. It's nice to see all of your shining faces. This is the Thursday night Skills for Life class, and tonight's class is choice and accountability. So I guess we'll go over to our whiteboard, the whiteboard, as everybody's slowly joining us. I know we get more people in the next 15 minutes than we kind of do previous. So,
All I can see is a big gray square. There's nothing else showing. Just so
yeah.
you guys know.
Okay. As we work on the technical difficulties,
Is that better?
There it
so
is.
Okay.
there's our whiteboard. Alrighty. So, the skills for life. This is the other half of the rapid eye model. This is the cognitive repatterning. It's assisting us to look at life just a little differently so that we can make different choices. Today we're talking all about choice. And choices are really really super important because we can make different choices and get different results. A lot of times when life is just throwing you stuff and you feel like things are coming at you and it's really not what you want to be experiencing, you make different choices that could change. And so that's talking about choice. If you look at the top, our first one is thought. And that's that our thoughts are creative. We are amazing beings, and our brains and our thinking is amazing because we can make things happen. And um, yeah, thought is an amazing tool. If you can focus on your thoughts as to what you want to create, it's amazing what you can do. The next one is um, perception, and our perceptions are our feelings and beliefs and our experiences shape our perceptions. And everyone's perceptions are going to be different. We can all be standing on a different corner and watch an accident happen, and we're all going to have different perceptions. We're going to notice different things, maybe different colors, maybe different ways in which the cars came at each other, or how someone reacted. Or if we've been in an accident like that previous, we may be back in our own trauma. So it just depends on
Good point.
what your previous beliefs and
I just cut you off.
feelings are about that event will shape your perceptions. Then we have choice and accountability. So we make choices all the time. It's so important that, as people can make choices and choose what it is we want in our lives. And then there's the accountability part. Accountability gives you the opportunity to look at, okay, I made this choice and this was the outcome of that choice. And is that what I really wanted to create? And so you can go back and make a different choice. You can choose again. And I see, a lot of people have a hard time with accountability. Accountability can sometimes be really hard, and when you're triggered, that's when you can really look at, okay, where did this trigger come from? What's going on with me? And how can I be accountable for what's shown up in my life and look at what choices led to this so that I can make a different choice next time and hopefully get what I do want instead of what I don't want. The next one is um, I can't see it. It's so tiny. There we go. Cause and effect. Okay, cause and effect. So what we put out into the universe comes back to us, multiplied. And so that's why it's really important to pay attention to what you put out into the universe. The best example of this is when you're driving down the freeway and someone cuts you off. And what is your reaction to that? Some people get instantly angry. And so they're yelling at the guy and they're putting that negative energy out into the world and it builds in their system. That's what's going to come back to you. And I think it's absolutely hilarious to switch that script. And when somebody goes zooming past me, the first thing my brain thinks is, oh, I guess that guy really had to go to the bathroom. He really had to go bad. So that's why he's driving so fast. Or, maybe there's an emergency he's trying to get home for, or whatever. I don't take it personally that he's doing anything against me. He just really needs to get home. And I send safety with him. It's like, okay, good luck. Be safe. Hope you get home in time. You know, and that helps to flip the script. It helps me not get so agitated and upset and angry and keep that kind of energy floating around my brain, um, to stay positive and to keep that mindset. The next one is abundance and gratitude. Abundance and gratitude is again, it works with cause and effect, because whatever you put in out into the universe, you're going to get back in abundance. If you plant pumpkins and you water them and give them what they need, it's amazing the abundance of pumpkins you will receive. But if you plant tomatoes, you're not going to get pumpkins. So again, it's about being clear about what it is you want and what you're wanting to create. And sometimes the universe gives you freebies. We have, I'm on a farm, so we have a poo pile. And this year we had an abundance of our poo pile pumpkins. I didn't eat them, but my pigs sure liked them. And that helped me out. It's back there where it's getting all kinds of water and the right soil and the right kind of stuff, and we had an abundance of them. It was great. And I didn't have to do anything to create that. It was kind of a freebie from the universe. But it was great. And it's whatever you put your attention to and you nurture it, you're going to get that in abundance. It's great. Okay, then you go up to health and healing, which is so important for rapid eye technicians, because we do put a lot of energy into the emotional and the spiritual and assisting people in helping their lives and helping them figure out their lives. And it's really important to look at the physical also. It's real important to be conscious of your health and to go from that so that you can live a better life physically. Also, we have, behind me, I have the body chart. And, all of those emotional issues are also attached to things in the body, and things that can come up for you. And that's the great thing about Rapid Eye, is we can help you release those things. Then you go into harmony and rhythm, being in harmony with ourselves and the rhythm of the universe around us and this planet that we inhabit, and all of the cycles and seasons and rhythms. And so much is being learned now about energy healing. I know Tyler and Alan, some of the songs that you guys have come up with are in specific hertz, which is a healing in itself, which is amazing. And we're learning so much more about vibration and tone and healing in those ways, which is just another tool in our toolbox to help us live better lives. Then on the other side of the whiteboard, we have our community pieces, which are HHF, Help My Hair is on Fire. If you have an issue you're struggling with, or you just need a boost, you can text any of us and say HHF. We don't need to know the story. We will just send you energy. Right now, everybody that's listening, let's send energy to Lisa. Um, she's been experiencing some health issues, and we're remembering to send her Reiki or prayers or any energy you can think to send Lisa is great, and to assist her to feel better. And after
And
the
Eric too for his procedure tomorrow.
yes, Eric's having a procedure tomorrow. So thank you. He's joining us through the hospital. They've got him in there, giving him lots of antibiotics.
I love it.
Okay, so then our next one is the 4-step self-care protocol, and we actually do have the entire thing contained in a PDF that you can download that teaches you how to be the therapeutic person in your life. This process makes such a difference when you're triggered or you're just upset, something's going on. You can run through this and it will help you. It'll definitely assist you to feel better, to help you get a little clearer about what it is you do want. And it's a great tool. I use it a lot. And it's really important that we teach our clients how to do this process so that they can help themselves when they need it. Okay, and then just under that is the universal 2x4. This is kind of the tool I was talking about with choice and accountability. When the universe gives us those 2x4s, those issues that pop out of the blue and kind of feel like you've just been hit in the head by a 2x4, pay attention to those, because if we don't work on it and try to make some different choices, there's going to keep coming up. This pattern will repeat until you make a different choice, do something differently. And if you don't listen to those universal 2x4s, the next thing that coming is the Mack truck. And the Mack truck is bigger issues like cancer or divorce or, really poor relationships, things that are hard to manage. And those occur when you don't listen to those universal 2x4s. The next one is the acronym Pay Attention Inside Now. So whenever you experience pain, physical pain, emotional pain, spiritual pain, wherever it's coming from, it's the body's way of saying, hey, pay attention. Got an issue. Let's look at it. Let's get in there and see what we can do to change the circumstance so that you can heal. The next one is cancel that. I use that all the time. Anytime I find myself saying something that I don't want to put out into the universe, I can switch that around and say, cancel that. This is what I want to create, and rephrase it. And that one is really good tool. All righty. Thank you for that. And we're out of the whiteboard. All right. So tonight's um, talk is about choice and accountability. And our choices are, you know, there's there's so much, and that's one of the things that's cool about that drawing, or the little felt piece, is there's all those arrows around it that show that we at any choice point, we have so many choices we can make. There are so many things we can try. And the best way I know to illustrate that, I was at a training called Impact. And have you ever done the activity where you have a very long hallway or a large room, and they say to you, okay, everybody is going to walk from this point to that point. Only every person has to walk a different way. So maybe the first person just walks, the second person runs, the third person could skip, the fourth person could walk backwards, and there was over 100 people there, and we all found a different way to get from A to B. And that really illustrated how every situation we come across, there's an unlimited amount of choices, possibilities that we can choose. And later on, if that particular choice doesn't necessarily work for you, choose again. That's the best thing is instead of beating yourself up saying, "Oh, that didn't work. That really sucks." And getting depressed about it, you can just say, "Oh, okay. That didn't work. I'm going to choose something different next time. Let's make a new choice." It really does take the pressure off of making choices because if you look at it as an experiment, because here we are on this planet, we're here in Earth school. We're all here to learn. And I think one of the best ways to learn is by making different choices. This one kind of got me close to where I want to be, but not exactly what I wanted. Let's try again. Let's choose something different. And, sometimes choices seem big. Um, when Eric and I chose to move down to Oregon, it seemed like a really big choice. And it took us a while to really jump into that choice. And I think I had a real estate agent on the phone every week for like 2 years. Terry really, really worked with me to find the right place to go. And I really feel like it's the best choice I've made in a long time. We are so much happier here than we were in Washington. Just a completely different circumstance, completely different way of living than we had there. And although I enjoyed there while we were there, it was an okay choice. This one was so much more fun.
Can I make a
And
comment?
yeah,
Before you leave the story of crossing, how many ways are there really to cross a room?
yeah.
The emphasis with the person that I first did that exercise with, the question was asked, how much is the actual action, of crossing the room, and how much is what percentage is intention? Okay.
Oh,
Now, everybody's like, oh, it's 50-50. You got to, anyway, make a long process short. It's 100% intention.
intention.
Intention is everything. You can be in the worst, most depressing situation that you could ever imagine in your life. If you can get enough life force energy to shift your intention about what you want, and no
Mhm.
matter how bad the situation is, you keep focusing back. You consciously make the choice, okay, that the intention is that it switches. Might be your health, it might be, I don't know, relationship, it might be anything. But what I remember from that, the learning for me was the shock of it's 100% intention. More than choice, more than will, more than action, all of that. It's the intention. If it is your intention to cross that room and 5,000 people have already done it away, you'll find a way.
Yeah.
And it set me in a whole year-long study of the power of intention. So I think that it's really important with choice and accountability that we realize that the power of intention is 100%. It's intention. And I had to really think about that for a long time. And maybe that's because I was so unaware of it or whatever, you know. But back in my 20s, that's the first time I did that exercise with somebody was crossing the room.
Hmm.
It was shocking to me that it was 100% intention. No, it has to be the action. It's the intention. So think about that. I just wanted to point that out.
Well, and that totally leads me into the story I was going to share. Totally.
You're welcome.
I love how these puzzle pieces just fit together sometimes. I was flipping through Facebook this morning actually and came across the story of Viktor Frankl. Is anybody on here familiar with Viktor Frankl?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was in Auschwitz. He was the Nazis got him, and he was a psychologist, and he had written a transcript, a big book that he was going to have published, and it was sewn inside of his coat. And when he was processed in Auschwitz, they took it and they burned it. And as he was there, he realized that the experience he was seeing and the people around him really it augmented his work. And he could really see that particular thing about intention. The conditions there were designed to kill not just the body, but the soul. Men slept nine to a wooden bed. They were fed watery soup and stale bread. They worked freezing in the mud until they collapsed. But as a doctor, Frankel began noticing something strange. Death didn't always strike the weakest first. Strong men withered and died in days. Frail men who looked like skeletons somehow kept waking up morning after morning. Frankel realized men weren't just dying from typhus or starvation, they were dying from a lack of meaning. The camp doctors even had a term for it: give up itis. Followed a predictable pattern. A prisoner would stop washing. Then he would stop moving. Then he would do something that signaled the end. He would smoke his own cigarettes. So cigarettes were the only currency in the camp. They could be traded for an extra bowl of soup, which meant another day of life. When a man smoked his own cigarette, he was signaling he no longer cared about tomorrow. Usually within 48 hours, he would be gone. He would whisper to himself the words of Nietzsche: he who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. So he says he kind of began a quiet, invisible rebellion. He couldn't save his manuscript, so he rewrote it in his mind while marching through the snow in torn shoes, beaten by guards. He wasn't there. He was in a warm lecture hall in Vienna, delivering talks about the psychology of the concentration camp to imagined students. He forced his mind to focus on a future that did not yet exist. He began helping others find their anchors. He would crawl to a sobbing man and ask, "What is waiting for you?" One man had a daughter in a foreign country, another was a scientist with books to finish. And he reminded them of their lives, things they wanted to do. He gave them a reason to stand for one more roll call. So when the camps were liberated, he was freed. He found his parents were dead, his wife was dead. Every single person he had stayed for, every person he had dreamed of during the long nights were gone. He was entirely alone. It was the moment where he could finally have succumbed. Instead, he sat down and began to write. He wrote with feverish intensity, pouring the pain, the loss, and the lessons onto the page. He reconstructed the manuscript that they had burned and added something new, the undeniable proof of his experience. It took him 9 days to write Man's Search for Meaning. He didn't write it for fame. He originally wanted to publish it anonymously using only his prisoner number. He didn't think anyone would care about a camp survivor's thoughts. Publishers rejected it. They said it was too deep for anybody to care about. Book found its way out into the world. So his greatest legacy wasn't the book itself. It was the lesson he brought back from the abyss. You can take everything from a human being: their wealth, their health, their family, their freedom. But there is one thing, the last of human freedoms, that no guard, no government, nobody can take away from you the freedom to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, the freedom to choose your own way. The Nazis tried to reduce him to a number. They tried to make him a victim of history. Instead, Viktor Frankl turned his suffering into a lens that helped millions of people see the light. He showed us that we are not defined by what the world does to us. We are defined by what we do with what is left. So his intention was to assist those around him to survive and for him to survive. And I think that is really important when we feel like the world's getting too heavy, when we feel like there's a lot going on around us, to really remember our intentions and to choose to rise above it, to look at the positive. There are days when, I know I tend to be a little on the depressive side. I have that I can't remember the name for it.
That's
What?
seasonal affect disorder.
Not that one. It's the low grade depression.
Dysthymia.
Dysthymia. I can tend towards that sometimes. And yeah, and if he could go through that and still be positive every day and still be able to stand back and look at it from a different perspective and say, I'm going to keep these thoughts and I'm going to keep working on my work. I'm not going to let this stop me from doing what it is I am so passionate about, and to assist others around him to find that for themselves so that they could survive it. I think that story is just absolutely amazing. I do want to read the book. Have you read the book, Linnell?
Oh yes, I had to read it in the 8th grade. I had a history teacher that was huge on it. I'm sorry. It was so profound for me that as a butthole teenager, my friends and we read that book, and then every time things got bad, we would look at each other going and say, well, you're not in a concentration camp. And at the time it was funny to me. It's not funny now.
Yeah.
I see our country leaning towards Nazis and all that crap. And I remember that book and how it affected me as an 8th grader after reading that. And, it sounds really dumb, but I thought that last week when I had that almost $6,000 plumbing bill, and I was upset about it. And I thought, you're not in a concentration camp. You don't have somebody taking away and beating you and not feeding you. And all of a sudden, I got really happy. It was like, oh, everything's a little bit relative, right?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah,
It
I
shifts
highly
your
recommend the
perspective.
book. Yeah, if you haven't read that book, I think it's a book that every person might want to consider reading at some point in their life, and it will give your life more meaning. It's that powerful.
Yeah. I just was really struck by that story that, he was able to, like you said, find intention. So many of your choices are taken away, but what's between your ears? this brain that we have, they couldn't take that away.
Well, wait
And
till you
Can I
read it.
ask a question?
mm,
What is the name of it again? What's the name of it?
Viktor Frankl is the name of the author, and it's the
Man's
something
search for meaning, right?
something for meaning.
Say that
Yeah.
again.
Hold on, I'll look real quick. I had it right here. Man's search
Yeah.
for meaning.
I was going to say, I think Linnell said it, Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl.
Yeah.
And it's in every library. It's in every, I keep a paperback copy on my shelf with my Rapid Eye books, Winter's Flower. It is, and my Louise Hayes books. It's all, and Emoto's work, Dr. Emoto's work. I do those all together.
And he wrote it in 9 days after getting out of Auschwitz.
Yeah, 9 days, that quickly.
Victor, what's his last name?
Frankl. Frank, and then an L on the end. Yeah. Yeah, and he had written a lot of what he was going to say previous. And then to keep that alive in his mind, the way he described that he would pretend like he was in a big lecture hall and speak it in his head, see the crowd there and be giving this talk. It kept the information in his mind, kept it fresh in his head, so that he could sit down and in 9 days just write out an entire book. That's amazing. And it is about intention. It's what's your come from? What is it, when our intentions are clear, the choices are so much easier. I know some people sometimes have difficult times making choices. I tend to be a pretty fast chooser. It really drives me crazy to go to a grocery store with somebody who wants to look at every little thing. And I'm like, just grab that. Let's go. I'm pretty quick at choosing. And sometimes I think it's good for me to think about that intention and slow down just a little bit and make a little different choices because of that. Um, so let's see. I think I got the wrong page. I had chosen a activity and now I can't find it. Okay, that's all right. It's been one of those days where life has just been lifing. There's been lots of stuff to do and um been busy. So the other thing that's really important to think about when we talk about choice is that we have choices in our interactions with other people. When someone comes to you and they're upset or they're yelling at you or whatever's going on, you have there apparently two definite choices to look at. You can react and get just as upset as they are or more or whatever, or say something that you may eventually regret, dropping down into your pattern, or you can respond. Take a break and really think, what's my intention? What do I want to create with this response so that I'm clear about either a boundary pertaining to whatever that's going on with that person or how I feel about it, so that you're a little clearer with your communication. A lot of our choices when it comes to communicating with people in our lives are patterned. They're automatic. They're, oh, when this happens, I do this. When that happens, I feel this. And I'm really realizing, um, as I've been reading more about people with ADHD, that especially in my interpersonal relationships with people, I tend to assume everyone hates me. I don't know why. It's been that way since I was little, but when I read about it, I find that it's typical for people with ADHD. So my come from is always, oh, you don't like me. You're not, you're saying this because I'm bad. I'll internalize it fast. And so this has been really important for me to not react, which my react is usually to beat myself up. That's my pattern. That's my go-to. And if I can instead respond and talk about it in a way that will be constructive for the relationship, but still be, okay, if it's something that has to do with the boundary with me, I can say, okay, that's not what I want to create with you. I feel I'm in future, if you're going to behave this way with me and say those kinds of things, I'm going to remove myself. Or whatever I have to do to protect me. So, but it's been really interesting to try to look at that because I've always had this kind of social awkward thing. And I've slowly been getting out of that in the last like 8 years since I found rapid eye. But then to really figure out that part of that just has to do with the fact that my brain sees things a little differently has been really interesting. So it's put a different kind of look at this of reacting or responding. And so that's really what I've been focusing on lately in making different choices, especially in interpersonal relationships. Has anybody else had any experience with that?
Tanya, one of the things that I would suggest also at this point is I'm really noticing how brave it is of you. You know, recognition is the first step. You're recognizing the pattern, you're recognizing what might have not been conscious for you before until you parse that out, until you sort of detangled all of that and
Yeah.
understood what was going on. That's pretty fabulous.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you used an example we could relate to, because we all when we figure it out, there's odd ways that we've all assigned meaning to something that isn't really based in reality sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I remember when I first explained this to Eric, I think we were having a conversation about something, and I was like, yeah, I have this thing now that I recognize from reading about this, that this is my MO, this is where I come from, is that everybody doesn't like me. And he's like, where did you get that? And
I know
I was
the
like,
moment you said that, I was like, well, isn't that interesting? I have never thought of you that way, Tanya. I was really surprised. I thought, oh, that's really interesting.
yeah, and I can remember being little and thinking that. And that doesn't serve me. It doesn't assist me in any way to beat myself up or just assume that everyone I meet isn't going to like me.
Well, I want you to
It's-
know I love you. I think you're wonderful.
Thank
You've
you.
inspired me so much. I just want
Thank
you to know
you.
that.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's been an interesting journey over the last couple of years, just taking apart this ADHD stuff. But But I think there is something to learn in that for everybody is when you're under pressure, when there's things happening around you that you don't necessarily care for, how do you handle that? Do you drop into your pattern? Do you react? Or can you step back and respond in a way that hopefully either assist the relationship to get better or that you can extract yourself in a way that doesn't make things worse. um that's another interesting part of choosing. And we do have patterns. Patterns can be really difficult sometimes to untangle. Um, everybody tonight, when you go to brush your teeth before you go to bed, try to brush your teeth differently. Whether you use the other hand or you just, try to do it in a different way. We get so patterned. Our brains, especially with daily operations, we do tend to work like a computer where we will do the same thing every day. And that's why I think it's so important to switch those patterns up, because otherwise we're always going to get the same results. So it's important to look at what patterns are serving us, what ones work for us. I think it's great that I have a pattern to always brush my teeth every night, but I could do it in a different way. I also tend to get into um, truly believing that my way of driving is the best. I know the best route to get from my house to Walmart. And if you want to go another way, I'm going to be really upset the whole time. If you're driving and you're going a way that I don't think is the fastest or stays away from the most lights or is the easiest way to get there, it really gets my system upset. And I've had to look at that too, because especially like if Eric's driving, he'll tell you I'm the worst side seat driver. And
I have a quick thing about that. Growing up with an autistic brother, Kelton, I was older than him, and he would get patterned and get very upset. He wanted to wear the same blue shirt, the same pair of pants. He wanted to drive to the store in the same way. He wanted everything the same. And I remember Mom Renee saying, we have to do it different every single time. We have to drive a different way. Okay. We have to get different colored shirts. And that's the only one available. And I grew up seeing the value of random abstract.
yeah,
Okay. And patterning, and how it affected my life is I now teach a training where the main saying is, if you continue to do what you've always done, you'll continue to get what you've always gotten. And is that working for you? Do you like your results? Well, if not, unless you have all the abundance you want and all the loving relationships you want and all the health you want, you've got work to do. And that comes from switching it up.
yeah,
Get your patterns, because you have what you have created. I'm not trying to be harsh or anything, but you have what you have created. And if there's one thing you don't like, do it different. Last week,
yeah,
Tyler shared about doing it different on Christmas Eve, I think it was, or Christmas Day, something. That story that I've been thinking about that this week, and I want to do it differently. Thanks for that reminder about Viktor Frankl and his book. Thanks. Because I could fall into feeling kind of melancholy about myself. And when I, can't bring mom out of an episode that's frightening, or Kelton won't act sociably responsible, or another pipe bursts here on the property. You know what? Thanks for the reminder. I do get to choose how I feel about that. And I'm not in a concentration camp. And those things are all teaching me. But wow, I'm just going to go straight to gratitude. That I'm going to
yeah,
go get in an hour from now, I'm going to go get in a warm bed. And that I have
yeah,
loose change in my pocket and in my car. And that I have enough food and no one's beating me up every day, even if I feel that way.
yeah.
And I'm so grateful. I am so grateful for my life and for what I get to experience every day. And I can do Christmas Day different too. It doesn't have to be so stressful. I can go. I mean, I'm sure David Nardini, my handyman, thinks I'm crazy woman because he told me he was scared to call me and tell me how much the price was from the plumber.
Oh,
Told me, and I just started cracking up laughing. I said, David, it's okay. We're all going to live. Okay. We're all going to be okay. In 100 years, nobody's going to care
I
what we're experiencing right now. And if we die tomorrow, it's still okay. We're all going home. We're all going home to a really good, bright place. And whenever that is, I'm going to be grateful for it. And I'm just so grateful that I can be warm tonight because it's
I
cold.
had
yeah.
I had
Yeah.
an,
It's, yeah. Alan?
I had an experience with going to the dentist, and I just realized how grateful I am. I had a tooth break, and it was a cord nut, and the little horn broke off, and just grateful that you could kind of like go in and fix it, put a crown on it, and I know it costs a lot, but man, I'm grateful for that. It's just the alternative is so
Yeah.
yikes.
I thought about that yesterday with Eric in the hospital. He has a very large kidney stone, and it's been blocking his whole kidney on that side. And so they had to put a tube in to drain it and to get him healthier and get him on antibiotics before they can get that thing out. And I thought, what did people do before they could do that?
Yeah,
You die.
exactly.
You couldn't get that out, and I was just so grateful that not only were they able to fix that, but that his doctor was observant enough to notice, oh, wait, you still have an infection. So we're not doing your procedure today. She just canceled the whole thing and put him in the hospital and said, let's get you better first, and then we'll do this. And I was so grateful for her yesterday, too. Yeah. And that's kind of, what I'm saying. When you find yourself getting really agitated about something, it's like I was talking about the being a passenger in the car and him not driving the way I want him to, because I get really irate. I get uptight, and it's like I don't want to feel that way. So if I've got to go out and drive a whole bunch of different ways and just change that pattern, then that's what I'm going to do to get through it, because I want to be at peace and I want to be happier in my relationships. I don't want to be nagging him all the time. I'm sure he's heard me nag him enough.
Tanya, I am so glad you brought that up because what Linnell shared earlier, early on in my first trainings, she shared that information about,
Mhm.
Renee sharing, we do different ways every time. And to this day, whenever I drive somewhere, if I've driven that pattern, on errands in town often, I switch. I go a totally different way. I forget about gas efficiency. I think I've got to switch it up. And I
Yeah.
really appreciate that you guys went into all of this because, like what Alan was saying, what each of you, Eric's procedure getting changed. What a blessing, that
Yeah.
awareness was there.
Yeah.
That's really powerful.
Can I say
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
Uh, I 2 weeks ago had, or actually, yeah, about that, had some work done on my teeth. And I've had problems with my teeth when I was a little kid, really bad. And I never loved the dentist because of what I went through. But the miracle of it was that I've been a long time waiting to get my teeth fixed. And I kept saying, my teeth are going to be fine. They're going to be fine. They're not going to get any cavities. They're going to be fine. Well, which was true. That's what I've experienced. But I have a hard time with medications, and most dentists can't work on me because I get very, very sick and the chair, and I do weird things, and so they don't want to work with me, and so they give up on me. So I found a homeopathic dentist, and I had all my children taken care of first, of course. Isn't that the way you do it? Have your husband taken care of it, and then you're last, right? Well, so my husband got his teeth all finished 3 months before he died. Oh, it was just so exciting. We got his teeth finished. Now it's my turn. And then he died. And I thought, oh, good grief. That's terrible. Now, what about me? Well, so I've been trying to get my teeth fixed, but I've been sick since my husband died. So I've been trying to fix them. So last September, I got one tooth fixed. And they had to take out silver fillings from when I was a little child. And the bad thing about silver fillings is they leak. And so a back cavity can get underneath them and you don't know they're there. Well, that's what happened. And so when he went to work on my tooth this time, and he had taken out the silver filling last in September and put it in a temporary, he gets working on it and he didn't know how bad it was. And it gets down working. I can't even tell you the whole thing that happened, but I had a spiritual experience. I saw angels in front of me. They were on top of me. They were helping me. And he said he had someone holding the drill and drilling the drill, and it wasn't him. And I thought, oh my word, I was praying that the angels would come take care of it because he thought he was going to lose the tooth. It was right down to the nerve. But guess what? He saved my tooth. And so I was so wonderfully grateful. But the medication, he gave me a lot more than my body can handle. So I've been sick for 2 weeks. And normally I can only handle one shot. And he gave me 3. And he gave me this laughing gas stuff, which I normally can't handle. But I made it through and I'm still alive. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful so much today.
Yay.
And I thought, you know what? I was blessed and I am so grateful. I'm just, your gratitude and telling me about gratitude and being not in a concentration camp. I just said, yes, that's true. I'm grateful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely about, again, shifting our perception and choosing to see things, to choosing to focus on the good. Focus on your intention of what you want to create and focusing on the good things that come up. And that's the way I've been looking at stuff lately. And it's definitely, I'm seeing changes and things being just easier. And that's been wonderful. Okay, so we're getting close to 8. I think we'll go ahead and we have a new song. I'm excited. I haven't heard it yet. So I super excited to see what Tyler and Alan have come up with for us this evening.
Tanya, I'm very also grateful that you use the word good, because also think what that brings to mind about I'm after understanding. I'm after, looking at the range of how can I respond to this? How do I choose? I'm always at choice. I so appreciate that. Thank you. And Tyler, new music. Woohoo! We're on board, Tyler.
Oh, cool.
Once upon a time, in a ghost town at high noon, I walked inside what once was probably a saloon. I saw an empty stage and took up all the room. In that moment I became all that I had a mind to. An astronaut, you name it, a jungle guide of mine, a football star, a cowboy, a warrior in time. No director in sight, no other actors in the light. I did not lose a minute and filled my roles just fine. I have a say in my lines, I draw lines with what I say, and taking a stance on what I want means don't cross what I create. I'm talking to you, you're not the all-knowing fate. Destiny's a fable to the plot that I can make. I'm choosing to see instead of seeing that I choose have a say in my lines. I draw lines with what I say, and taking a stance on what I want means don't cross what I create. I'm talking to you, you're not the all-knowing fate. Destiny's a fable to the plot that I can make. Comparing apples to apples, I view the pick of the day, and I'm the one that's picking, no other in the way. And nothing else can interfere or distraction that annoys. I won't allow a single thing come and steal my joy. I have a say in my lines. I draw lines with what I say, and taking a stance on what I want means don't cross what I create. I'm talking to you, you're not the all-knowing fate. Destiny's a fable to the plot that I can make.
Cool.
Every time I think they can't get better, and they do.
Great. Wow. Loved it.
That's awesome.
That
I
was
must really
amazing.
need to go to bed because everything makes me cry tonight. Such a good song. Wow.
That tagline, Tyler, is so good about the lines. I have a say in the lines, and I draw. That's just awesome. It's really good. It's thoughtful. It's going to be one that I re-listen to again. That's pretty powerful.
I appreciate it. I hope everybody knows that when I write these, I really believe what I write. When they
Yes.
so
I hear it. I hear it. I hear it. It's powerful.
Yeah.
And
Very-
Marion, I'm so glad to see your face.
Yes.
Here.
I know.
I have this really cool bionic heart monitor on my sternum. And I was not looking forward to having one, to wear one for a month. Turns out technology, I'm like a bionic woman. It's 2-inch by half-inch wide. It's waterproof, you guys. I could take a shower with it. It's awesome.
Wow.
So everything works in our behalf. It's like Eric getting that procedure released, and the plumbing bill paid, and the Allen's teeth doing well, and Tyler writing. I'm so grateful that you have continued to put your focus to put together the music and the words. Oh my word, this has been so helpful.
Yeah, I loved it.
It's been great.
Sometimes words are lame about how something makes you feel. So I hope you get it. That was a great song. Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was really good.
I
It's
loved
like
it.
Renaissance music, Tyler. I liked the acoustic and the guitar music, or mandolin. Oh my gosh, that was really cool. I think we all relate to the Renaissance on some level.
Yeah.
I saw that
Okay.
lady warrior in the armor. And
Yeah.
it reminded me of this book called The Deed of Paxenarian that I read. And I'm not kidding. Now I got to find it and reread it with Viktor Frankl's book. I got to read them both right now. This is so awesome.
Yeah. I'm going to check that one out too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll
Okay.
love it.
So next week we have cause and effect. And Linnell's on deck unless anybody else steps up and says, I want to try, because we would love that. So if you're interested in helping out with one of these, let us know. We would love to have anybody that's a technician that wants to step up and try. So, but we will see all of you back here next week on Thursday night.
And Tanya, Eric is still on, I think.
Yeah.
Lots of love and support in this process.
Yeah, his
Man.
procedures tomorrow afternoon. They're going to go in there and get that stone out, blast it, do whatever they got to do. So
Oh,
Good job.
get him
Good
feeling
job.
better. So
So lovely to see everyone tonight and hear from one another. Thank you.
And
And I put in the chat, you guys, James Clear's work on atomic habits. And that's a
Oh,
really useful book about habits that serve us and how to become aware about habits that don't serve us so well. And remember, we, like Linnell was saying, we're all walking one another home, you guys. We're all walking one another home.
I also acknowledge that every single person on here, you all have things going on in your lives that are difficult and hard. And I want you to know, man, it's going to be okay. You're going to be all right. And we're stronger to better together than any one of us separate. And I'm thankful for the community. I'm
yeah.
thankful.
And what if it all turns out?
Yeah. And what if it all turns out really good?
That's right.
And you take one O out of good and you've got God. So
Oh,
there you go.
I like that.
Yeah,
Because it's all good.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Bye.
It's wonderful. Wonderful.
Bye,
So much.
everybody. Thank you,
Bye.
Alan. Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Week, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.